ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. Well, hey, it's another Thursday, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon, and it's a Wednesday. Holy moly. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is Wednesday and episode 168. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen you, and I've missed you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited to have you here. We have a really epic show that we've been working on for a really long time. The incredible Dylan Mulvaney is here in a time when the trans community is under attack. We are really excited that Dylan is here to lend her voice with a brand new Off-Broadway show called The Least Problematic Girl in the World. And then comedy icon, the one and only Rita Rudner is here. I had the chance to speak to Rita Rudner, and it was really, really incredible and fantastic and fun. So stick around for a really special episode of The Roundtable. Thanks for joining us. I don't know how we've gotten to 168. We're about to celebrate our 4th year in January, and we're trudging along to some of our favorite times of the year, the Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas time. So don't miss The Roundtable. We'll be here every week with lots of fun and excitement. We're not here on a Thursday this week because tomorrow we're going to the opening night of Beauty and the Beast over at the Fisher Theater on the national tour with Disney. So I'm going. I'm taking Darius and Deidre and Samantha and the cousins, and we're going to go ahead and check it out. So we had an interview with them last week. Belle and the Beast were here. So I'm very excited that we thank you for coming along and being here. You can comment. Make sure you say hey. Live views show up on StreamYard every time. And if you're watching us on YouTube as this exactamundo moment, I hope that you make sure that you thank you for being here, and also make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the little notification button so you see us every day when a new episode pops up. Are you ready? I'm ready for you. What is our hot take?
It's smoking.
So my question for you is, this week was wild and woolly. So what is something great that happened this week? Tell me some good news. You got some good news? We just talked to Christine beforehand. She had the news on. Nothing good on that. So what is some good news, something great that's happened to you this week? Give me the good tea. I want to know. I don't care if it's you had a good meal, if you watched a good TV show. It could be you cut your hair. It could be you heard from a long lost friend. It could be you won the Mega Millions. I don't know what happened to you, but I want to know. Share some good news. Let's spread some joy. Peace, love, joy. You'll give them peace, you'll give them love, you'll give them joy. If you love The Preacher's Wife, then you got that. All right, so let's hit it. Here's my weekend review. So this week was the past 2 weeks have been a little bit out of control because I had to go home. Many of you have reached out and spread your love and condolences to me and my family. I don't want to make this into a sad show. I don't want to cry, and I don't want to bring this whole show down, especially when you have people like Dylan Mulvaney and Rita Rudner on. But my grandma, who watched every one of our shows, my aunt and my mom who are watching, my grandmother, they would watch while she was in the home or the rehab, or she was at her home. She's been on this show. The show started when I was part of the time we used to do episodes there for my mom's birthday. And my grandmother on, I think she watched very much like my mom and my aunt watched every single week. This might be the first one that she missed, but I know she's probably watching it from somewhere. So I want to say thank you for everybody who sent their love and condolences to my family, for my grandma, Virginia. I know she's somewhere with my grandpa. That's him right there. My grandpa, Mike. Oh my God, we're so Italian. And we have had a lot of memories and a lot of joy through the years. If you read my Facebook post or Instagram post and you saw what she did and knew and meant and the way she was and loved, she was an unforgettable character. That is for sure. It means so much to me that all of you sent so much love to me and my family. I'm not going to do a hey friend hey because I'm going to say it now. Hey friend hey to my husband, who was there with me the entire time and is such a support to my family, my mom, my brother, and myself. He's so cute. He rented us the world's largest car, literally. The world's largest car, to make sure we all could fit and need anything that we needed. He took care of us. I'm so incredibly grateful to have somebody like him in my life. Big shout out to my friends like A, who's watching right now, who's going to interview Dylan for me. She jumped in and interviewed Dylan while I wasn't able to. Mike, Janae, Darwin, Jerry, Sam, uh, all of John, Jimmy, everybody who came and showed up and showed so much love to us all. So thank you very, very much for that. My husband's here. See, he's here. And thank you, Christine. Thank you. Thank you. Love from my Aunt Fran. You know, it was so funny. When all was said and done, we went by my Aunt Fran's house, and Darius, with his height, you know, she was showing us her pond and she was showing us her flowers. And Darius loves flowers, and my aunt loves flowers. My family sells flowers. So he helped her pick figs. Look, because he's so tall, he's like 6'5". And so he was able to reach up and grab the fig tree. And here's my Aunt Fran and him picking the fig trees right now. That would make my grandpa and my grandma so funny. So yeah, here we are. He took good care of me, made sure I was comfy and was fine. I got to see my little buddy. I got to see little Sam for a quick visit while I was out there. And we made the most of the moments we got to spend together. So that's what life's all about at the end of the day. I think when we do the show, more so than the famous people that come on here, it's more about the community. And it doesn't matter what guest is on the show. It could be, you know, the president, or it could be, you know, Joe Schmo down the street. As long as this group of people come together every single day, and all of you that are watching this after the fact, because you love Dylan and Rita, join the party and watch us. We're here live every week, and then we're also every day over on our platforms. And that is what I think means the most to me, is that we as a community get to share in each other's joys and pains and love each other. And I know that that is what matters the most. So thank you, Rosemary. I see that. Much prayers and loves to you too. Lattes, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. And as Cat Daddy says, she will continue to live in your hearts because I knew you and I have been changed for good. 50 days. 50 days till Wicked. So thank you all for the love and that you sent. You know, I decided to do a little thing differently. Then I'll let go of the Grandma Verge story, which is, what were her favorite things? Are you ready? Why not? You want to hear about them? Well, I want to tell you about them because she was a unique one for sure. Here is the Virginia favorite things.
You get a car! You get a car! You get a car! You get a car!
When you think of my Grandma Verge, the thing that I think is, oh, see, Latte says great hot take. Thank you. What is something great that I need? Some good news. I want some uplifting, fun news. My grandmother loved a couple of things. She loved Stella Dora Swiss fudge cookies. There was always like 1,000 of them above her refrigerator. That is a fact. That is a Verge thing. She loved the McDonald's filet of fish. She couldn't have tartar sauce, so she would get it without the tartar sauce. She would take the top bun off, and then she would go like this: tuna fish, meaning that she turned the calories of the sandwich into tuna. She was funny. She used to say it tastes better when it's free. I call them Vergisms. There's all these little things that don't eat the yellow snow, all these 10-4 good buddy. She had all these little things that she would say. She always joked about drinking Southern Comfort. It was a drink she would drink, but I think I've seen her drink once in my life. She'd always say she was going to have Southern Comfort and put on a red strapless. And I hope she's somewhere up there in the sky drinking Southern Comfort and in a red strapless. And she loved a grapefruit, and she used to cut them like a bowl and eat them with a spoon like a cereal. It was such a unique, fun thing. It makes me laugh. And last year, you know, while she was getting older, she always was really into St. Anthony and Mother Cabrini, who is a patron saint of immigrants. And if you go across the George Washington Bridge in Washington Heights, there's the Cathedral of Mother Cabrini. Who knew we would have a nun on the show tonight? Not your typical guest for the Roundtable. And Mother Cabrini lived in New York after coming here from Italy, and she took care of all of the immigrants. My grandfather was an immigrant who was undocumented and came here. My grandmother married him, and since his whole family came over here. And she always was a patron saint of immigrants. And while immigrants have become such a politicized word nowadays, she was very devout to Mother Cabrini, and my mom would always take her. So while she was still alive and well, they dedicated a part of this of Mother Cabrini to my grandparents. And I know that that's a lasting legacy that meant so much to her. So in the times, remember, we all come from somewhere. Her parents were immigrants. My grandfather were immigrants. And we all can be a little bit kinder and nicer to one another. She was a trip and a half. She loved Frank Sinatra. And one of my favorite things was watching this DVD, which was not a DVD, I'm sorry, VHS, of Sammy, Liza, and Frank. And I started to sing because she loved music. And we would watch this, and guess where it took place? It took place at the Fox Theater when they reopened the Fox after remodeling it. And my first trip here ever, when the first day I ever met Darius, he walked me to the Fox Theater, and that's the picture from the Fox Theater the first day I met him. This was the first day I met him. That was my outfit. The first day I met Darius, I bought those sneakers on Woodward in Detroit when I landed on the plane. We walked downtown Detroit, and then I got to finally see the Fox Theater and inside the gorgeous Fox Theater. And I think about her when I go there, and I think about her when I was there and we got to tell her we went there. And it's just a weird little funny Detroit connection to the whole entire thing. So yeah, oh goodness, thank you, Mom, and all the love and support. And yes, we love a fillet. You know, you could get a double fillet. Darius taught me you could get a double fillet. You could get 2 fillet of fish for $1 more. I never knew that. So that's definitely the fun favorite thing. So thank you all so much for all of the love and all of the joy that my grandmother gave me, all the things you gave by being part of the show, which you watch every single week. Make sure you tell somebody, I say at the end of every show, that you love them. You know, life is super short. And let's see, my Detroit moment. I got a Detroit moment. Hold up. Let's do it. We're out of order, but I don't care.
You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. What up, though?
So my Detroit moment is that it was count day. We never had count day. The fillet of fish is objectively a great burger. That is so funny because I do enjoy it. I mean, some people really go down on the fillet of fish. Like Darius, he will crave a double fillet of fish. So this week in Detroit, today was count day. So I wanted to shout out to the Detroit Lions, who always take care of our school. And they had a really fun day planned for the kids. I got to meet, look at this. So celebrities. Rory, the lion mascot, is always at our school. So I see Rory and I say, hey, Rory, how are you? Rory brought a friend this week. Rory brought Tony the tiger. So I got my picture with Tony the tiger because we had Kellogg's sponsor breakfast. So they had cereal for everybody. And I was starstruck. See, Darius says the fillet of fish is so great. It's his fave. And I was starstruck. The kids were starstruck. Some of them were freaked out because they said that furry people freak them out, which I understand. So after I got those pictures, when they stood in the backdrop, I needed the picture. I needed the good picture because when do you get to see celebrities like Tony the tiger and Rory the lion? Lions and tigers. I'm not a bear. I mean, I'm not a bear yet. I mean, I do have a scruffy beard and I thought that was a funny lions, tigers, and bears, but that's not my tribe. But it is a funny Instagram caption. Look, Darius says he may have one for dinner. We may be going to McDonald's after this. See, A loves Tony the tiger. So there, I have a video. I'll show it to you on Instagram. I say, they're great. I told Tony, how do you not do it? But see, I don't love Frosted Flakes. I do like Apple Jacks, which is a rare take for a cereal. And maybe next week I'll ask you your favorite cereal. I like Raisin Bran. I like Frosted Mini Wheat. See, I'm a boring cereal person. I'm a Fruity Pebble. Stupid. So it was a fun day. And then we have a school, E.T., Eric Thomas, who is a motivational speaker from Detroit, who now goes and speaks to all sorts of teams. He gets paid $1 quadrillion. He is all over the world doing amazing speaking engagements. He's been paid and sponsors and volunteers our school. He speaks for our school. And Eric was there. And I had to say, hey, what up to Eric? And he took the information for the show. And he has a podcast as well. And he has a New York Times bestselling book. And he talks about the hustle. He's the hip hop preacher, and he was there to inspire the kids. And I love that we try so hard to get through to all the kids in Detroit. So shout out to Detroit. Shout out to the Detroit Lions. May they win this weekend. And shout out to you, Eric Thomas. And get yourself some Frosted Flakes, low sugar, though, the low sugar version, because anyone need no diabetes. And then you got your foot falling off. Diamond, say hello. She's looking for attention. Say hello. Okay, girl. Special shout out to Ann Ellen, who's celebrating her birthday today, who's Adrian's mama bear, and shout out to Christine's mom, Judy, who celebrated her birthday last week, and we missed it because I wasn't on the air last week. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to. Are you yawning while I sing? Happy birthday, dear my pal Judy and Aunt Ellen. Whoa, yeah. Happy birthday to you. Woo! So excited. Latte's bought pumpkin spice mini tweets. Okay, go. Diamond. A's doggy had surgery, so I hope your doggy is okay. Even with surgery, A made time to talk to Dylan Mulvaney, so we love that. It's coming up in a minute. Finally, I want to give we'll play this. We'll play the thing. Play the thing.
'Cause I'm shameless.
I have a shameless plug for Broadway World this week because Dylan's going to be on Broadway World on Friday. Dylan will be on Adrian makes her Broadway World debut, and we'll be on Broadway World this week. But next week, we have some other really great interviews. Next week, the Harlem Globetrotters will be here. Yep, Harlem Globetrotters. Jeff Timmons of 98 Degrees will be here. Yep, and also the incredible Christmas band that tours all around the entire world. Bum ba da bum bum ba da bum bum ba da bum bum ba da bum. And now I just sang the song and I totally forgot their name. And now I'll keep thinking is Mannheim Steamroller, and it is not Mannheim Steamroller. You know the big group. What the heck? And this is why I can't. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Holy cannoli. Get my life together. Thank you, A. Holy moly cannolis. Aunt Ellen, you're here. What are you doing here? Happy birthday, girl. And hi, Christine's mom, Judy. I hope you had a great birthday, Aunt Ellen. I was going to text you, but you're here. Texting you right here. Happy birthday. I love you. I enjoy every single second. I hope it's the best one ever. So next week is a crazy wild show. It's called Early Christmas Gifts, and lots of other fun shows coming up on the month. And then I'm doing my first singing a little shenanigans here in Detroit at the end of the month, and I'm really excited about it. So I'd say speak about it. Heart to Heart Relationship Talk Show, Chris, a Halloween edition. I don't know these people, but I'm singing 2 songs, and I'm going to be speaking on a panel about what I think of what I think of relationships, my relationship advice with a therapist and a motivational speaker and a comedian and randomly me. And so if you're in Detroit at the Cola Lounge on October 29th from 7:30 till 10, I'll be there. Drinks are $5. There's a DJ and there's a costume contest. So dress up like something fun and come see me sing a little Whitney Houston and Luther Vandross, and hear me talk about what works for relationships. And my husband will be there. And I don't know. It will be a wild night. And you can Instagram me or whatever, and I'll make sure I tag you and post it, and I'll be talking more about it. More shows, Christmas shows, Detroit shows, New York shows, and lots of shows coming. Big gay Italian wedding shows coming up soon, so don't go anywhere. Lots of stuff coming. Do my students know that I am a singer and I can sing? No. They have no clue. They don't know about the show. They don't know about my Instagram, really. They try to look. And when I pretended to sing today, they were very unimpressed. So they don't really know. I've kept it a real big secret here in Detroit about a lot of it. I just told my principal the other day that I did SNL for years, and she was like, yesterday, she's like, you have secrets. Secrets to the grave, y'all. Secrets. I got secrets for days. No, I really don't. I would rather. That's a good question. All right, I'm going to ask them. So maybe they played my music in a workshop the other day. It weirded me out because they thought they were funny. The gym teacher found it and thought he was funny. So I'm in the workshop and I'm giving the workshop, and it was time to work. And then they put music on, and I heard all of me. Why not take all of me? Can't you see? And I was like, what in the world? Do they know I have Lettucey on speed? That's my girl, and she's got a new album coming out. And Jussie Smollett, who's a friend to the show, who is a friend to ours, and I know you guys get controversial about it, but his new album is out. Lettucey's new album is coming out of Diana Washington music, and Faith Evans is, I think, going to come on the show. My other friend, I think I got her to email me today and say, "Do you want me to do it on the phone, or we may get Faith?" So stick around. We got a lot of good shows coming up. I love that. That's funny. Thank you, Cat Daddies. So what did you say was your good stuff? The good stuff that happened to you this week? I need to know. Tell me, baby girl. Adrian's been sending me guest suggestions and they make me laugh. Christine says, something great was that a childhood friend has reconnected with me this week. Oh, that's really sweet. That makes me smile. That's a good thing. I love old friends. A says, being able to celebrate with my mom on her birthday. Life is short, so we have to celebrate all the small things. And a mom birthday is not a small thing. I don't think it's a small thing at all. I think it's a crazy great thing. I think it's a really great thing. Latte says, don't judge me. My great thing that's happened this week. Wait for it. My first Botox kicked in this week. Sorry, not so. Yes, girl. Hold on. How do you feel? Oh. 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 I want it. Sometimes I think I want it. Oh, Lattes, you look great. But yes, Botox. She's got a big wedding coming up. Her son is getting married in Cancun. She's going to Mexico for 8 days. And I'm excited for her. So she's got the glam squad ready to go. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. So last week, I worked for months to talk to Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan did the red carpet for us. Oh, hold on. Cat Daddies, the vet left a voicemail for me that Cleo's blood work came back normal. That is a great, incredible news. Thank God. Oh, little Cleo baby. That's the cat daddy. That's Cleo's daddies. So we had a great chance to have, yes, woo, Adrian's doggy made it through surgery too. Achilles was torn and Chewy's okay. Thank God for the baby doggies. We love the fur babies. So Dylan was supposed to come on, and I was supposed to do an interview with Dylan last week. And I was literally flying in the air the time that Dylan was going to do it. And when we were going to cancel Dylan's chat, there's my doggy. When we canceled, you heard dogs? When we canceled, we were going to cancel Dylan's chat, but they were not going to have time for her to reschedule because Dylan is doing an off-Broadway show. So they were like, we'll try to make it work. And then I had this idea that I learned about Dylan, and one of the big fans of Dylan, especially in the beginning of all of this, was Adrian. So Adrian, our red carpet correspondent, got a lesson in how to use this platform that you're watching right now and did her first exclusive interview that will be here and then on Broadway World on Friday with iconic LGBTQIA plus Broadway superstar and now off-Broadway superstar, Dylan Mulvaney. So Adrian gave the cutest interview. She's way more serious and more informative and intuitive and jumps into issues than I do. And I am super excited for you to check it out. Here's Dylan Mulvaney making her kind of roundtable debut with Adrian.
I am so excited to be here today. The Roundtablers, please welcome the one, the only, Dylan Mulvaney.
Hello.
Welcome to the Roundtable. We are so excited to have you here today. And I was so excited because Robert had some personal things. And he goes, could you interview Dylan? I said, hello, of course I could interview Dylan. I'm so excited.
That makes me so happy. Well, it's destiny, and I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So you've been busy. You've had a lot going on.
Honey, a one-person show I've found to maybe be the toughest lift of them all. But it's happening. It's about to happen.
So you're in previews right now.
We actually start previews this upcoming weekend. Today is my first week of tech, and it's gonna be, I mean, I did the show last year, but we've added about 25 minutes onto it and 3 new songs. And so there's, a few new things that are coming into the show. The set's much more, intricate. We've kind of upped the ante on many of the elements. So just trying to get those all together before our audience gets in.
Wow. I mean, making your debut at the West End had to be something amazing. And I'm sure a bucket list for you.
Yeah. Oh, well, in a weird way, I feel like London and the West End felt even more of like a reach, because I think growing up, I only assumed like if I got to be in the back of an ensemble anywhere, even if that was like in an Ohio dinner theater, I would have been thrilled. But if you had told me I would get the chance to like go overseas to do a show for the Brits, I wouldn't have believed you. And so I kind of think this year has been full of so many happy surprises. And I think the fact that now I'm bringing my story to the Lortel, which is such an iconic theater, and we've seen so many like amazing shows like Oh Mary start there recently. It's so wild to be living through such a dark time period, but then also having these like bits of joy that makes me think like, okay, I'm doing the right things. I've got to keep trucking, keep trying to spread trans joy because it's worth sharing.
Very, very true. And the name of the show is The Least Problematic Woman in the World.
Correct. Yeah. A very ironic title.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about how it came about. And also, you've got all original music in this.
Yes. Yes. There's 6 original songs. 4 are written by myself and Mark Sonnenblick, who wrote the music for K-pop Demon Hunters. Which is, been quite a win for him this year. I've got a song with Ingrid Michaelson that we collaborated on. The opening number is written by Toby and Lucy, who wrote Six, the musical. And then Abigail Barlow, who wrote the Bridgerton musical, also wrote one of the songs with me. And it really was crazy to get to reach out to like all the people I've like fangirled over to see if they would want to do something, and they all said yes. So that I think has been one of the really fun perks of getting to build something from the ground up is bringing all the people that you love into it. And the show, it's called The Least Problematic Woman in the World. It is sort of a crazy retelling of my relationship with my transness growing up, and also my relationship with the Catholic Church, because I grew up going to Catholic school for most of my life. And I feel like it's a really unique experience to be like battling, gender identity while also having the church and God be involved in sort of the storytelling of that. But I've found now that there's so many queer folks and trans folks who've had also similar experiences of like trying to step into their true authenticity, but like being told that their religion wouldn't accept whatever that is. And so I really do think whether someone is, in the queer community or not, they can find a way into the story.
I love that. I think that's so important. And I'm excited to see that even though it's slow, more information is coming out, more education is coming out, even though it's trying to be silenced.
Right.
We need more people to speak up and have that voice. And I think that's why it's so wonderful. I remember back in 2020, my sister's like, you have to join TikTok. And I'm like, oh, they're only young people dancing. I said, I'm in my 40s. I said, what are you, crazy? She goes, I'll watch Star Wars, because she's never watched it, because I love Star Wars.
I've never watched Star Wars.
Oh, Dylan.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to do it for you.
It's great. It's wonderful. Well, maybe take a pause on it right now, but you know what I'm saying. But so I said, okay, fine. And then I go on and I said, oh, there's a plethora of wonderful things on here. And I found you. And
really?
I found, yes. And, I'm scrolling through my For You page, and you popped up and I said, who is this person? I said, oh my gosh, the amount of joy of watching you every day where, it was, day 105. And I said, this is so wonderful. And I said, it's such a simple thing, but the awareness. And I did want to ask you, were you ever, like, once you hit, like, you were like, oh my gosh, like everyone knows who I am. Were you ever nervous or scared that, did I do the right thing by putting myself, out there like that?
It's so interesting. I was just talking, thank you. First of all, I sometimes, because I was just in my apartment making videos with myself, like it's so confusing to me of like, if I'm walking down the street and someone, tells me that they like feel like they know me, because it was so isolating in some ways. But kind of this idea of like, did I make the right decision by sharing it? And there's a part of the show towards the end of it where I start to kind of question whether or not this was the right thing to do, because a lot of trans people, go into their little cocoons and then they come out as this trans person, whether that's months or years later from their realizations. And for me, I remember that first day of being like, ooh, should I go into hiding, or should I take people along for the ride. And I really did take people along for the ride because I wanted to see if it was possible to like be, to be so early on and still find that acceptance. And I ultimately did from a lot of good, wonderful people. But I think that now, looking back, I'm so much more private just because I know how many people want to take that joy away. And so I think during a time like right now where trans people are so under attack, I just want to make sure that whatever I'm putting out there can't be used against other trans people. And also because I started in theater, I was like, this feels almost like coming home in a way, because I feel so much safer to tell my story on a stage with like 300 people who are specifically want to be there versus, I mean, I could see some hater buying a ticket just to sit through and try to, come up with reasons to not like me, but that is a lot more energy than a hater just watching a 60-second video. So
Right.
I really feel like during this kind of scary time when people don't know how to support trans folks, and if some trans folks aren't as comfortable like me to be making content about our journeys, that there are other ways to find us and connect with us, whether that's through books that we write or through, this stage that we're doing. And I think that's something like, oh my God, I'm doing The Drowsy Chaperone later in October with a huge cast of trans people at Carnegie Hall. And like, to me, that might not be like inherently a trans story, but seeing all those trans people do something like that, I think is a huge part of like advocacy, of like allyship, because we need to show right now that we're profitable. We need to show that like our supporters are still there and willing to, fill seats and willing to listen. And I think that's what really excites me about coming back to the stage is telling my audience that loved my day 1, day 2 videos to also say, but this is actually what I want to do, which is be a performer. And the fact that they have a personal connection with me outside of that makes me so happy. But it's almost like helping them see the real me in a fun way.
Exactly. And I think it's so important. And I mean, I live in New Jersey. I grew up in the city, and I remember going to see, my first musical, which was Annie, on Broadway. I love it. It's just, there's just something about live theater and live music. And there's nothing like it, and I was probably like 5 years old, and that was it. I was like, I
Completely.
love this, let's do it again and again. But I think it's so important, especially for people who, I think they're scared, for people that don't know and say these horrible things. They are uneducated. And I don't mean like they don't know. Well, that's the story for another time, but like, just listen, and you don't always have to agree, but you could be like, okay, and go about your day. It's like, what are you doing that are bothering these people? It makes me very angry. My husband's like, don't get in trouble online. I said, okay. Because I get so angry because it's like, I have so many friends, in the queer community. And then I have some of my, my friends that I've had forever, their children are like, I'm not sure. I want to try this and I want to try that. Why not? As long as you're being safe, you're being careful, and their parents are supportive. And it's like, okay. And, and sometimes they're like, oh, I'm nervous, I'm afraid. And it's like, I love you. And that's why I think it's so important to be out there. And it's like, you can maybe be like, I don't understand or I don't get it, but you can be like, okay. And that's it. I just wish more people felt that way.
I really think I actually saw Trevor Noah do a stand-up show in London a few months ago, and he talks about how like trauma plus time equals comedy. And I feel like so much of my past few years of transitioning has been quite traumatic just because of hate and backlash. But it's been enough time since like Beergate and certain events that I now feel like I can laugh about it in some ways, even though we are living through still so much trauma. And I think that's what I want to bring my audience, especially those who saw me online before, be like, now I can laugh about it. I want you all to laugh with me. And I think that humor is such a way to help teach people, because it's less intense, and it also is like it lets them into like the healing process with you.
Right.
So instead of pity, they actually like can empathize, because I find like the pity element of it to be a bit, I don't know, not it feels like one of a cheaper form of currency. But when it comes to like empathy, which feels very different than pity, that's where I want us to be able to have like honest conversations, and being able to tell a story and know that the audience isn't just victimizing me, but is like being able to see that I am kind of conquering these battles without feeling like guilty about it. I don't know. I just really think like a lot of the show is so stupid silly, and I think that is something that I want people to see from me after, you know, going to the White House to interview a president, or, you know, being talked about by all of these Congress people. Like, I want people to see that I still have that like stupid sensibility within me.
Because that's part of who you are. Like you know, you're a
Yes.
performer, you're an entertainer, and it's like, I don't have to be serious all the time. And I also think empathy, which is a beautiful word, empathy also leads to acceptance. And that's where we have to
Right.
go. And that's why I say, like, you don't always have to understand it, but if you can just empathize and be like, oh, okay, and then be like, okay, and then just be like,
Yeah.
leave us alone. That's really what it is. Just leave us alone. We
Well,
didn't do anything.
I mean, I think about growing up in the theater, and like the shows that really like affected me as a young person were, you know, Rent. I remember seeing it like 6 times in San Diego at the Civic Center, and then Spring Awakening. And like even just seeing any sort of queerness was so exciting to me, and like really like almost felt more tangible to me than seeing real life queer people, because I could project myself into these characters. And so, you know, someone that might not be on TikTok even, or an older generation that doesn't know a trans person yet, but if they can see me on stage playing this heightened version of myself, which is a character in some ways, to live through that, I think that would be so exciting to me, the way that I did as a kid with Angel and Rent, or Ernst and Spring Awakening. And I am just so happy to like, because it feels like in the New York theater scene right now, there's been some like progression in getting trans representation up on the stage, but we have so long to go. So that's
It is a
what
long
I
road.
keep
Yes.
wanting to chip away at it.
I love that so much. It's so fantastic. So what do you have any advice to the young, and I don't even just want to say queer community, but just to the young people out there, because, you know, it's a very scary time in our country, which, you know, on a daily basis, we don't know what's going to happen next. And it's just, I think it's all young people. If we can all just learn to accept one another and be like, oh, you're you know, that's what I think is, if we can get to that, you know, and also when you're feeling down, you know, when you have those moments, what is something that you do that kind of picks you up and is like, okay, I'm all right. I can get through this day.
Yeah, I think if I was to tell young people anything, it would be that you know yourself better than anyone else does. And that applies to your gender, your sexuality, your hobbies, your taste in music. And I think I spent a lot of my younger years looking to other people to tell me what to do, or to tell me that I was talented, or to tell me what to sing. And then the moments before my transition that really do stick out to me as like moments of pure authenticity were the moments where I actually said, no, this is what I want to do, to the people in charge. Specifically, you know, in college, being like finally allowing myself to sing female material, or finally taking a comedy class instead of Shakespeare. And so it's like, whatever it is, that little itch that you have, you need to follow it, because if you stop following that, it gets quieter, and it gets less easy to follow. And then as far as like things to do that will help get us through these trying times. I mean, I really do rely on my friendships and making sure that, like, I think what is particularly tricky about the way that social media is working right now is we feel so connected to all of these different people. But I think the tangibility of having friends in real life that you can go and see a show with or have a sleepover with, or, like, I think that for me is still my greatest joy, is being in actual physical community with people. And if they don't have the ability to find that right now, then hopefully that day will come.
Yes.
And also, like, I try to look at every day as like a brand new, fresh start. You can't really change anything that you've done before this moment, but every morning feels like a reset. And so I think just not being so cruel to ourselves, because as a young person, I was constantly telling myself why I was not enough, but I wasn't actually checking in on the things that I was doing correctly. So I think it's being able to, like, really acknowledge what you're also doing right instead of purely what you're doing wrong.
I love all of that so much. And you also have you're an author. You have a book, Paper Doll.
I have a book, Paper Doll. It's so in New York. I don't even think I brought a copy, but I'm gonna need to change that. But
I have it on my Audible.
Oh, God, you know what? And that's a good way to do it, because I think so the way I wrote it, I felt like was how I spoke versus like some formal approach to like writing, and so I wanted it to be sort of everything that I couldn't share online.
Right.
I put into the book, and it's a little raunchier than my normal content. It's a little more adult, but I think it's fun. And I grew up reading books that were, like Chelsea Handler or Amy Poehler's book, and I didn't know books could be that casual and personal. And so that's what I really wanted to do with Paper Doll. And I think now that I've kind of gotten bit by that bug as well, like, and so hopefully more books to come. But I just can't believe that the internet helped me create all these dreams. Like, there's no way I would be doing a show at the Lortel right now if it weren't for TikTok. And so as much as people might try to like shit on social media or make people that start on there feel like less of a creative, I actually think it is such a tool right now, and we have to harness it.
I agree 100%. It's really true. And I think especially for the younger generation where it shifts, it changes all the time. When you see, I love to bake and stuff. And I see this young man, he's 15 years old, and he's like, please follow me. And he does like treats like Oreo cookies and things like that. And I was like, he's 15. Like, I think that's wonderful. And he's got all these followers, and it's like my ASMR. I love watching him, like it's so great. And I think it's so true, Dylan, that it really is a way to carve out something for yourself, whatever your niche is. I just think it's wonderful, and I'm so happy that you came across my For You page. It's truly wonderful.
God. Well, and now we're here 3 years later. So
now we're here. So now everyone needs to go buy tickets to go see this show. I believe it starts. Is it October 7th through November 30th? Those are the dates that I have. Or did that shift?
We've got a shift. We're actually starting September 27th now, and we're going through October 19th. And so we've got 4 weeks. It's going to be 8 shows a week, and I'm going to give it my all every single night. So I hope that they will join me.
Yes. And you can go get your tickets at leastproblematicwoman.com. Please go do that. Please buy her book. Please support her, follow her, and all those wonderful things as I do on everything. And Dylan, thank you so much. This has been just wonderful for me. And thank you, Robert, for letting me do the interview.
Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you, Robert.
I loved it. Kudos to A. Wow. We loved it. Thank you. Look, we got the Cat Daddy say Adrienne has more personality in her pinky finger than I have in my whole body. That's so I love it. My mom says we do great interviews. Latte says, you're killing it, A. What a beautiful interview. She has so much to say, and people need to listen with an open mind and an open heart. Her light shines bright. Long overdue, Cat Daddy say. A says she was so lovely and kind before and after the interview as well. I know she invited Adrian to see the show, so we got to make that happen. And Adrian should have a podcast. Adrian's been killing it on TikTok, everybody. She's been talking not about politics because she's trying to bring some joy. So she's been talking about reality TV. So if you love her, you got to follow her on TikTok. AMC Stargate, Disney Star. I don't know. Ask her. And we got to get Adrian to have a podcast. Speaking of podcasts and fun, Rita Rudner is a legend and an icon. And I know we're running late, and it's going to run about 5 minutes over. So take a look at this. Oh, of course, you've got it. We got this. And the one and only, the icon. She looks so good. She does not age, and she's really funny. What does she think of hacks and being an inspiration for Deborah Vance? Oh, I went in. I think it was my most controversial question yet. Rita Rudner is here. Well, growing up, everybody, my first job was at the John Harms Center for the Arts in Englewood, New Jersey. And Rita Rudner would come through every few years, sell this place out. And as an 18-year-old little gay boy in the back of that theater, I lived for every joke and every word that you said. You're an icon. You're a legend. And I am so excited you're coming to 54 Below. Ladies and gentlemen, Rita Rudner is here.
Hello, everybody. Now, I can't see me, but you can see me,
I
right?
can see you, and you don't age. You look gorgeous.
Well, that's very nice. I have orange and I have little things here to distract.
No, that is not. You know what? You are somebody who I'm so excited to see, and I can't believe that people can see you at 54 Below Broadway's living room for 2 nights.
Broadway's living room, that's so good. I always said it feels like my living room, and after everybody leaves, I don't have to clean up.
That's perfect. Wait,
Yeah.
Rita Rudner, you got started on Broadway?
I love Broadway. I never thought I would be a comedian. All I wanted to be was a dancer on Broadway. I don't know well, I do. I started ballet at 4. And then I kept doing ballet, and I was in local ballet companies, 11, 12, 13. And then my feet weren't good enough to be a real ballerina because, as well as talent and drive and determination, you have to be built the correct way to be a ballerina. And I wasn't. You have to have long legs and a small head. And I had a big head and average legs. So you have to have long legs and a small head. You got to look a little bit like an alien to be a ballerina. And I wasn't looking right. So I said, let's take jazz, tap, acrobatics. And then I said, I want to be on Broadway. Forget the ballet thing. And then I moved to New York at 15. And then my first job was when I was 16, Zorba around the country with John Raitt and Cheetah Rivera. And I was the swing girl. So I learned everybody's parts. And when anyone got sick, I would go in and I would do the part.
Your first job was with John Raitt and Cheetah Rivera traveling around Talk
Yeah.
about start at the top. But where do you go from there?
Well, hopefully from there I went to Broadway, which is what happened. So I came and I saved my money. And because I made money, I never had made any money. I was a kid, and I wasn't even equity when I did the audition. So I got to join equity because I did it at an open audition because I was crazy. To me, is it true to be successful, you really have to be crazy? Because I was crazy. That's all I thought about. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd say, let's go to class. Let's go to So then I did that, and it was really good. I have a good Cheetah Rivera story though, because I was a swing girl, so I did everybody's part. And the first time I went on, during the bows, we had to do a little dance, and I fell down because I jumped too high during the bows, and I landed in front of Cheetah Rivera, and she very gently told me to never do that again. Rita, come over here. Never do that again. Okay.
People may not know this. Before your rise and all the TV specials and the best-selling books and the movies and the Vegas and all that, you did Annie for over a year. You were Lily St. Regis.
I was Lily St. Regis. That was my part. Before that, what was my show? I was the standby for Charmin in the Magic Show on Broadway. And so that was I got to do big parts whenever the real Charmin didn't show up. And also I was another girl, but I forgot the name of the other girl I understudied the part. But Annie was my first part in a big Broadway show that I did for over a year. And it was fun. It was really fun. I loved it. I loved every minute of Broadway. And then while I was on Broadway, I said, I've been doing this for 10 years because that was my 6th Broadway show. And I said, I love it, but there aren't too many female comedians and there are loads of female dancers. So I don't know, let's just try comedy. And then it stuck. And I
It,
still love it. And I still wrote a joke yesterday.
and that's what I was going to say. I read you write a joke almost every day.
I always think of jokes and I write them down, and sometimes they work and sometimes they didn't. And I had a bad dream last night that the joke I wrote wasn't funny. But, if that's my worst bad dream, that's okay.
So what was it? Was there a moment where it hit? I know you did Letterman and you did Carson and you did all the, was there a moment where you saw it like, oh my gosh, this comedy thing is picking up. Like this is it.
Well, I love comedy and I love the creation of what creative people do. They create something that hasn't been in the world before. So like when you write a song, you go, "Oh, I wrote this. It hasn't been here before." So I said, I love when I put something out into the air that I thought of, it's very satisfying. So I said, I really just want to keep doing that. And I still want to keep doing that. But in the back of my mind was always, I wanted to do a sitcom because I grew up in the Mary Tyler Moore era and I love Mary Tyler Moore. And although I had pilots and I had two for HBO, one for CBS, so many things have to fall in line before something like that happens. It wasn't working anymore, so I started writing movies with my husband Martin, who was a comedy writer as well and a producer. And then we said, let's just do what we do best and be a mom and pop team. You produce the show, I'll tell jokes, and move to Vegas. And then it was a big success for over 10 years in Las Vegas. And we moved there, and then we were able to adopt a baby. And then I could be a mommy and I could have my show. And I said Vegas was the perfect place for a comedian because I could take a car to my show and the audience had to take a plane, instead of the other way around. And I still love working, like I work a lot of theaters around the country, but when I do 54 Below, it's a different kind of experience because it's so intimate. I've done their sister club at the Nico in
Yes.
San Francisco. And because I think I'm one of the only comedians who can do those venues because they're more singers venues than they are comedians venues. But because I think I can work in a clean, intimate setting, it kind of fits me as well. And I wear a gown and I dress up and everybody dresses up. And it's just fun. It's a different kind of experience.
54below.org is where you can get your tickets. You can get them right now. It's going to be two very special shows, two very special nights. Get your tickets October 10th and 11th. And I always say, if you're going to go to 54 Below, dress up. I get a Caesar salad. I get a little apple martini or whatever martinis it's a classy night.
I love that. It's a classic. That's like when Martin and I used to go to Chasen's and we would get Elizabeth Taylor chili and a glass of champagne.
Oh, you can't beat it. It's the best.
I know it's an experience that you can't get. I mean, there are other places and there are comedy clubs, and when I'm working on new material, I work in comedy clubs too, and I still like that. But I think 54 Below is a unique experience because it's it's kind of a little bit, what was I going to say? Like the police could come in and raid it any minute
It's a
because it's an
speakeasy fee.
underground, a little bit of it's not a brothel. What would you call it? Like when the police come and they go,
You
"Oh, you're
you
having too good a time. Get out of here."
you've never been in the men's room then. It's a little brothely in there sometimes.
Oh, I had one of my first jokes with the Catch a Rising Star when the ladies' room was broken and I had to use the men's room at Catch a Rising Star. And I had to say, my joke was, all I have to say about men in bathrooms is they're not real specific. It seems if they hit something, they're happy. And that was that was one of my first jokes created from using the men's bathroom at Catch a Rising Star.
That's I could only imagine what it's like being around men in comedy clubs. You are a forefront of women in comedy. Is the jokes you tell, is it like a singer with songs? Do you create a set list of the material? Do you pick and pull and
Yes, yes, yes. I always do because I can't go on stage without a map. And I have to have a map whenever I'm on it, no matter how many times I do it. Every single time I do it, I have my notebook and I have to, like, Martin looks, my husband Martin, he looks at it and goes, "Oh, this is so scary." Because, it's like chicken scratch. He can't read anything. And I can just write the punchline or the word of every joke and know what I'm saying. But I have to start here, what I'm going to talk about there. And I have it's like a sectional sofa where I can move sections, like over here, I'll put this section over here and I'll put this over here. But unless I have a map in my head, I can't go on.
It's amazing. What are some of the topics that you talk about when we buy our tickets to 54 Below this October? What are we going to hear you muse about?
Well, lately I'm musing about not being able to make anything work in my house, not being able to build furniture, not being that my toilet is smarter than I am. And it's just the technology that's moving out of control for everybody. I talk about everybody playing pickleball. That's one of my new jokes. And I'll tell you should I tell you my new pickleball joke?
Please.
Um, I was just wondering why are they calling it pickleball? Because it's a combination ping pong and tennis. So it should be called penis. So that's my new joke because that's what I think of. Everybody says I'm playing pickleball. It shouldn't be called pickleball.
I agree. I don't even know what really pickleball is, but I'm
It's just a bad version of tennis, and I'm not playing it. I play tennis, and I'm the worst one in tennis. I do my clinic twice a week, and you know why people keep me around? Because I compliment other people. So I'm very nice. So people, and even though I miss, I go, that was a really good shot. So they really like it because I boost their ego and they keep me in their tennis group.
See, to me, I think you live I would picture you having a very glamorous life. Like, I picture you always dressed up. I picture you always looking fantastic. I see lots of jewelry. I see very classy, sophisticated friends. Like, I think of Rita Rudner as a great socialite.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I do. I socialize with my dog and my daughter. I'm trying to socialize with her as we speak. She just graduated college and I said, "What do you want to do now?" And she said, "Retire." So I'm trying to motivate her to get out in the world and get cracking.
The
But
great
I do dress. I like to dress when I go out because I have clothes. And I figure since I have a closet and I have clothes, I should wear them. And people always say, "Where are you going?" I go to the supermarket. But still, I'm the nicest dressed person in Ralph's.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Then you'll recognize. You say, "Oh, there's Rita Rudner. She's dressed."
Yeah, well, I shouldn't say the nicest dressed person, but people always say, "You're very put together. Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm here. I'm at the supermarket. It's where we're going."
How much of the one line and your famous deadpan, the one line, the way you are, the most even delivery, it's amazing, is your natural cadence? And how much of Rita Rudner is a persona?
It's an exaggeration of my persona. And I just, every time I say a joke, I say it like I believe it because it doesn't matter. It's like when you sing a song, you've got to believe in what you're saying, and it has to create a new experience every single time. So I remember once when I was starting at Catch a Rising Star, there was another comedian on stage and he was recording himself. And I said, "That's interesting. Do you think what do you learn from that?" And he said, "Well, if a joke gets a laugh, I want to be able to repeat it that way every time." And I thought, well, that's wrong. You can't do it like that. And I didn't tell him that, but in my mind, I said, I can understand recording if you want to see what you did wrong, but not, I'm going to say it with the same cadence. Because every time, and not, don't you find because you're a singer and you perform that an audience is like a dancing partner and
Absolutely.
every audience is different? So when you present a song, and I mean, I can usually tell from the first couple jokes the personality of an audience because an audience assumes a personality, and you get into a rhythm with your audience. You know how long to hold a note, or you know how long to pause. I know how long to pause between a laugh, and that's what keeps it interesting for me all the time. Because I did perform in Vegas for a long time, and they said, "How do you do that all the time, almost every night?" And I said, "It was interesting for me every night." And I introduce new material every night. And some of it works and some of it doesn't, but it always keeps me kind of on my toes. So I'm not ever like, once I was working with the singer and you could just see he had his set list on the floor and he'd been doing it for a long time, and he'd go, "Okay, now I'll do this one." So I never want to do it like that. I always want it to be a unique experience for the audience every single time that they're never going to have again. And it's hard for people to get dressed up and go out,
Yes.
and they have to go into public and they have to park and they have to sit near strangers, and it's expensive. So I want to give people the best night they can possibly have when they come out to see me.
And that's why people love to see you. While in Vegas, over 2 million tickets sold, one of the longest running the longest running female comic residency of all time. Absolutely a stellar, top-notch career. Controversial question, do you like that people compare you to Hacks? Do you like Deborah Vance? Is this a compliment?
I haven't watched it because, and this is just because of me, I love Jean Smart. I think she's a genius, and I watch her in everything. But I just hate the title Hacks.
Mhm. I get it.
And I don't want to, it just turned me off right away because it's like doing a show about doctors and saying butchers.
Yeah.
Let's do a show about lawyers, liars. And I just didn't like I just don't like the concept of being called a hack.
I
So I
you're
mean, it's not bad because I know it's a good show. I know people love it and I love Jean Smart, but I haven't seen it.
you're an icon to me. I mean, you're a trailblazer and an icon. And I want to say before I took up enough of your time is to say that you being public about being a cancer survivor is very moving. And I read about that and October's breast cancer awareness. And I know that's not, but any awareness to cancer and what you've gone
Well,
through.
it's interesting. I want to know what you think because I'm working on new material all the time, and I've never mentioned that I was very sick in my act because I said I was working Vegas, and the last thing, because that's when I got sick, that's when I got cancer. The last thing people wanted to hear on their vacation was a funny thing happened to me in chemotherapy today. So I was thinking of maybe talking about it in a funny way, but I'm not sure if my persona can sustain it because I'm so lighthearted. So I've written a few jokes about it, and I don't know if I'm brave enough to say them, but I might. You just never know because comedy is more confessional these days. But I don't know if it goes with my rhythm and my thing because my one of my doctors that I did have in LA in Las Vegas was an Elvis impersonator at night, and I said he was very polite after each session. Go, thank you very much. But it was a unique experience having cancer. Having cancer in Las Vegas.
Please tell me that's a true story because that is.
Well, it was one of my doctors. He wasn't my cancer doctor, but when I had the flu, I came in, he had like this big black hair, and it was me and a bunch of cocktail. No, I had strep throat and I had to be on stage that night. And it was all these lovely cocktail waitresses like sniffling because they had to wear these brief outfits, and I'm sitting there, and he was big black hair and big jewelry and very, very Elvis. But I'm not sure. But I've written jokes about it now, and I might weave it into my act, and I might not. What do you think?
I love if you do it, I know they're going to be brilliant. I know your writing is brilliant. I know your books are bestsellers. I know that there's an entire group of people who would be inspired by what your
Well,
story.
I'll tell you my new joke. My radiation machine was a little bit different in Vegas. It took quarters. So,
See?
so I
It's a good
could do
joke.
it. I
It's a
could
good.
do it. I'm writing jokes about it now because it was 17 years ago. So I'm fine, and I can talk about it now, but I'm not sure. But I'm telling you my jokes for the first time that I've been writing about them.
I'm so honored and
I'm saying
so.
them out loud. I've never said, I haven't told Martin, I haven't told my daughter, I haven't told my dog, nobody. And those are the people who live with me. So
Well,
you're my first, I'm outing myself.
I'm I've outed myself in my days. And I love that. I'm very honored. That means a lot to me. I want to say that also I just finished my adoption foster classes and thank you for being on. Me and my,
Wow.
we got married in May and when
Yeah,
I see thank you.
congratulations.
And my husband is like, we're gonna do this. And I said, oh my God, I'm scared. And then I see Rita Rudner is gonna be here. And I said, I'm gonna ask Rita Rudner, you did it. Your daughter is grown. And
Yes, she's happy. I'm so, oh, you're gonna love it so much. We did an open adoption, and everything couldn't have gone smoother. We got very, very lucky. And the best thing about Molly was when she first saw my act, I didn't talk about her because she didn't sign up to be in my act, and Martin did because he married me. He was a comedy producer. He knew what he was getting, but not Molly. And she said, Mom, you talk about Daddy all the time. You never talk about me. Talk about me. So I said, do I have a license to tell jokes about you? She said, as long as I like the jokes, you can tell them. So my first joke about her was because she was such an energetic baby and her favorite game was hide and seek. And that was my favorite game too, because I didn't look for her right away. But you have to you're going to love it. And you go through the process. We did all of we had to get our fingerprints. We did all the preparation. We saw the videos. We did everything. And you're going to be so happy. And what's great about it is because I never envisioned myself as being a mother. When you do it, and I'm not saying everybody has to do it, everybody's different, and I celebrate differences in everybody's needs, wants, and who they are. But for me, my focus just transferred from show business, this to first this and then that, instead of that. I had this and that. So you'll have this and that, and it balances your life, or at least it did for me.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm very honored to talk to you. I meant it when I said I was a kid working in Englewood, New Jersey, when you would come once a
Oh,
year. And
I
I
love
want,
New Jersey.
we love you here. And now I'm in Detroit and we'll be in New York for your show. Everybody get a ticket. Go to Rita Rudner's website. The information will be below. Follow her on Instagram. See when she's coming to your neck of the woods. She's on the road. She's on tour. And 54 Below is going to be a special night. She won't be less than 100 feet away from you, right up and close and personal for a really special evening, 2 shows.
Sparkly gown, sparkly gown.
So join
Full
her.
gown.
Wear all
Full gown, full gown.
the accoutrement, the whole, take out all the fancy clothes. Let's do it.
Eyelashes and everything.
I can't wait to see you. Thank you for it's an honor. Thank you for chatting and
Thank
sharing
you.
those jokes with me. I'm ready for more.
I'm writing them every day. I sit down and go, maybe this is funny.
Listen,
So, well, thank you and congratulations on your marriage and your adoption. Best of luck.
Martin, I'm going to tell your husband I'm ready to revive Annie. I'll be Rooster. You can
Oh,
let's hit the road. I'm
wait a
ready.
second. I have something that I want to tell you before we go.
Please.
Because I don't know if this will happen or not, because we live in such a stupid, strange time. But one of my good friends is, I don't know if you know Bianca Del Rio,
Oh, yes.
who is a wonderful drag queen and a terrific comedian. And we've been working on a sitcom together. So I don't know, because everybody is so crazy now. But we've had people interested, and we have another little bit of interest here. And Bianca is busy now because he's doing a workshop of Tartuffe in New York. But after December, we're going to try to do some maybe videos online, and because we're very funny together, because he's so outrageous and I'm so contained.
Well, Bianca's been here now twice, and now Rita Rudner is a friend to the show as well. So
Oh,
we will be following and we will be living for that. Is the most perfect pair. Brilliant, brilliant across the board. All right, my fingers, toes, eyes, everything's crossed. Let's make that happen.
thank you. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for having me on your show.
What an honor. Anytime. My pleasure. Thank you.
I love her. She's so cute, everybody. Yes. Thank you. You are the best audience. Always lattes. She does look amazing. She does not age, Rita Rudner. Wonderful and informative, enjoyable chat with Dylan and Rita. Way to go, A. Love to you all. Love to you all. We ran late. Thank you, everybody, for being. My apologies to Matt Damon. I thank you all for being here so much. Shout out to Dylan Mulvaney. They'll be up on Broadway World on Friday. The jokes are funny and tasteful because they're coming from her personal experience, and she's only making light or making fun of her experience, not others' experience. She's funny and clever. You know, that's what Darius just said. I just asked Darius, like, what do you think of this? And he said, if you make your experience, if you take jokes about who you are and your experience, that's different than making fun of other people. So that's why y'all are people with my husband. Yes. I like her. She's cute. I would want to have tea with her. Doesn't she seem like somebody you'd want to have lunch with, Rita Rudner? Well, if you're in New York, 54 Below, and lots of great stuff. Next week is a hodgepodge of mess. I'll be in a better mood. We'll be having a better time. I just ate chicken nuggets and a McFlurry because my husband heard about the fish fillet. And did he get a fish fillet? Is the Pope Catholic? So while you were all watching, I was eating chicken nuggets, and I haven't had a McFlurry in a, McDonald's ice cream is good. Oh, Detroit. Being married and happy is a bitch. It's so good. I love you all for being here. Thank you for putting a smile on my face and cheering me up today. I look forward to seeing you next week on a Thursday. I'll tell you all about Beauty and the Beast in my weekend. The one thing I realized over the past 10 days is that it is so imperative that we love and accept one another. Life is short. There is no do-over. And we argue and fight over stupid things. We disagree over much less than we agree on. And we let our feelings, our egos, our tempers, our traumas dictate who we are. And life, at the end of it, is nothing. None of this matters. The views on this video don't matter. The argument that you might have had with somebody, the disagreement you might have had with somebody doesn't matter. At the end of the day, all that matters is the people you love. Your job doesn't matter. The money you made doesn't matter. The amount of Instagram followers you have really does not matter. At the end of the day, all we have is the people that love us and the people that we love. So be extra good to them this week. Make sure you send them lots of love. Tell somebody you love them. The world is shut. America is shut down. So keep yourself safe. We live in crazy times, so you got to find that peace and that positivity. Otherwise, the world will literally pull you down to the ground. So what I expect from you all this week, your homework assignment, is to call somebody, tell them you love them, and remember every single day. When Christine was on the Instagram pre-show, I saw CNN in the background. I love CNN, but I promise I've been like, oh no, once a day. I can only check it once a day because it stresses me out. So I just remind you all, love somebody, love somebody, love somebody, tell them you love them, and continue to spread joy and peace and be the light in the world. That's our job. There is more. Thanks, Aunt Ellen. I love you just the way you are. That show is coming up, rescheduled, the Billy Joel show. There's more love than there is hate. There's more joy than there is sadness. And there is more good than there is bad. You just got to look for it. There's so many good, wonderful, beautiful things going on all around us. I think life is magical that we get to be here in the year 2025, where I'm in Detroit, Michigan. You are anywhere around the world, and we get to connect and spend time together. What a time to be alive. I'm so grateful for that. I love you. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? See you next week. God bless you. Thank you so much for everything, and thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.